I can't believe her mother's so bossy on the other side. He goes, literally, she's trying to tell me what to do. And he's, because your mother keeps saying to him, speak louder, she's saying. And first of all, there's a couple souls that are trying to get my attention. But first of all, did your mother depart? Know that she's the first one through, but also with her, I have a child here that passed.
That was my brother.
And he was a stillborn here in the physical?
Yeah.
Please know that that soul is with your mom. Because she said to me, Matt, she says, you know that my whole life, this was something I didn't talk about. She says, but I always wondered about this boy. She says, this was something that my heart, she says, yearned for. She tells me that this was one of the most traumatic things that she had to go through here in this world, because she talks about delivering this child. And she says to me that she never even got to have eyes on him. She tells me that the hospital took him away from her.
Yeah.
She's here telling me that right now. When I got to heaven, I couldn't believe that all of a sudden, my baby boy was there. And that was the first time that I ever got to hold him. She says, because I was never allowed to hold him here in this world. He was taken from me. She says, and because of that, she goes, I had a lot of depression back in my younger years, she's telling me. Because she tells me that she was very scared with you when you were a little girl. Your mom tells me she was very protective over you back when you were younger. She's telling me that the reason why was that she was so afraid of something happening to you because of what happened to your brother.
That with all the family, we thought we were siblings. Yeah.
Because she's acknowledging that. She goes, Matt, I know what it was like for somebody to take a child away from me. She says, after that, she says, I was a changed person. And that's the reason why. She says, sometimes she goes, I was a little bit too much, she said to me, but it was after your own protection. And she's bringing that through. Did you lose your husband?
Yes, I did.
He's also coming through. And he goes to me, Matt, she wasn't really expecting me because I was a quiet here in this world, he said to me. He goes, I would have never really done this. He goes, I would have never really come through like this. He says, or speak like this. He goes, to a medium. He goes, but if my wife's here and my daughter's here, he goes, I'm going to have to come through, he says. No, it's his way of acknowledging that. And you know what's so funny? He's whispering in my ear and he's telling me, you were telling your daughter that. You were saying, listen, if you're here, dad's going to come through. If you're here with me, dad's going to be there. Dad's going to be there. He says to me, I heard her telling her that, Matt. So I couldn't disappoint them. Is that true?
Yeah.
So know that it's his way of acknowledging this. He says that even though I died, I'm still in that house with them. He's also telling me when I'm speaking to him, I feel cheated in the way that I died, he said to me.
Yeah.
Because he keeps saying to me, I wasn't supposed to die like this. I wasn't supposed to leave this world like this, he's telling me. He's saying to me that he wants to apologize to the two of you for everything that you saw and everything that you went through. He also was talking about the loss of consciousness, because right away when I'm connecting, he keeps talking about before his passing, losing consciousness or not feeling like he was in his body. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
He says to me this, he says, Matt, please let my family know that even though at the end this had happened, he says, I remember them. I am with them always. That's the soul that they're feeling in the house, because you keep feeling his soul with you and you keep feeling these different things. And what's weird is he actually shows me that you just had weird things happen with your electricity.
Yeah, the flicker. Yeah.
The flicker.
Yeah.
That was him. Because he says to me, Matt, I've been sending them all different signs. He was using, what happens is this is really cool. Sometimes our loved ones in the spirit will send us certain signs. And he was telling me he was using signs in nature to reach you. He kept telling me he was sending you birds, but he was telling me that you weren't connecting with it. He goes, Matt, they didn't really know. Was it me? Was it not? Is it really him? He goes, so I started to flicker the light. There was this light bulb that I keep seeing going on and off. He goes, that was me. That was me. He's telling me, letting you know that sometimes our loved ones don't know how to reach us, but they'll use different ways. And he's bringing that through to you. He's saying to me, Matt, he goes, can you let her know? I can't believe her mother's so bossy on the other side, he says to me. He goes, literally, she's trying to tell me what to do. And he's, because your mother keeps saying to him, speak louder, she's saying to him. He says to me that he needs to come over to you as his daughter. He talks about the fact that since your dad has passed, you've been having such anxiety. And you keep feeling, how am I going to live my life without my dad? He says, Matt, he goes, I never wanted this to affect her the way that it did. He says, my daughter was always calm, cool, and collected. And then now he's telling me about you having these anxiety attacks that have just started coming on you. He says, that never happened before. That's from me, he says to me. That's from you, about you dealing with my passing. He says, and you think too much about the future because your dad is telling me that you keep going back and you keep saying, oh my God, how am I going to get married? How am I going to do this? How am I going to do that without my dad? He's saying to me, Matt, I want her to know one thing. He says, I want her to know that I will be there for every moment of her life. He says that even though I might not be here physically, in spirit, I will be there for every single thing that she goes through. And he's bringing that through when I'm connecting with him. He says to me when I'm connecting with him that he doesn't want you to put things on hold. That the one thing that he's acknowledging is that you keep thinking that you have to stay home. You have to stay home. So your dad's telling me this. He goes, please let her know, Matt. He says that what I want to see in heaven is her living her life, because when she lives life, I get to be part of those journeys and milestones with you. He says, and the reason why I had to come through today is for one reason. He says, I wanted my daughter to know that there was an afterlife, because this is something that you've been questioning in your head. Is there heaven? Is there afterlife? He tells me that you weren't even sure that this was real when you came here. He says, I have to let her know that I see that she kept my picture. He's telling me there's this little picture of your dad that you carry and that you hold on to. Do you understand that? And he's caught you talking to it, by the way. He knows that you like talk to you see his picture, and you'll be like doing random things like, brushing your hair or getting out of the shower, and you'll be talking to your dad in your head. He says, Matt, let her know that when she talks to that picture, I hear her. Now, you're going to think that I'm out of my mind, okay? But he's also telling me that there was this cat that went missing.
We had a wee cat years ago that went missing, yeah.
And you never found that cat.
No, we never found it.
Your husband's going like this. He goes, Matt, they're never going to believe it. He goes, but I got this cat that's here. He says, and I found the cat, he's telling me. He goes, that cat that went missing, he goes, we were looking all over. He goes, Matt, he tells me you drove him crazy. He tells me like you made him like search like it was a manhunt. You made him go up and down the streets looking for this cat. He says to me, but do you know that that soul is there with me? Because even our pets make it to the other side. He tells me, Matt, please let the two of them know that they are the most important people to me. Don't think about the day that I died. Don't think about the way that I left this world. He says, I want them to think about all the moments that we had here in the physical. He says, and this is my way of letting you know in spirit that I am okay, that I am with you. And more importantly, he says, I am safe and at peace.
Thanks very much, Matt.
All right. I'm going to leave you with that.